Is the state ready to proceed with its witnesses today?
Yes, Judge, I believe he's under cross-examination by Attorney Schoenhorn.
Thank you. And we can bring the jury out, please. And would counsel stipulate, please?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
We continue this morning with the state's witness under cross-examination. You can bring in Detective Kimball. Good morning. You may be seated, Detective Kimball.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Attorney Schoenhorn.
You know, in looking things over the weekend, I realized recall that weather.us map that I showed you?
Yes.
I realized it had Central Time on there. I don't know if you noticed that. So I took the liberty of going back to weather.us to get Eastern Time for 11:59 on the evening of May 23rd. I'm going to put that up. I understand that there's no objection to Exhibit L.
That's for 12:59?
Yes.
For 1 a.m.?
Judge, I have no objection to Defense L.
Defense L admitted as a full exhibit.
Say words to that effect.
I remember the mention of the word year. I'm not sure the context of it.
During these interviews that you had with her, we'll start with June 2nd. Did she ever say, no, I want to stop, I'm done?
No.
You were aware that it got very hot in that room at the New Canaan Police Station, right?
Yes.
And at one point you hear that you had to take a break because it had gotten so hot and muggy and stifling in that room, right?
We took a break and we mentioned that it was warm. I'm not sure we took the break because of the temperature, but it was mentioned, the environment in the room was mentioned, definitely.
You heard Mr. Bowman get up and go, oh, it's hot. Remember him
Yes,
saying
I do
that,
remember
right?
that.
And you heard Ms. Tracona say, I'm getting dizzy, right?
I don't remember that. I don't remember her saying that.
Okay. So if it's on the video, it's on the video. But the point being, she didn't say, I'm done, I can't do this anymore. You went back and there was at least some more. And I don't want to go, I already went through this with you, but you know, you checked out Stop and Shop, right?
Yes.
You checked out, she returned a pocketbook, right?
Yes.
She drove her daughter to school, right?
Correct.
And she told you that Otis was acting normal that day, other than doing this little side trip to Albany Avenue, correct?
She did say that, yes.
Now, you were shown the timelines the other day by Mr. McGinnis, weren't you?
Yes,
So on June 2nd, you hadn't seen those timelines, had you?
that's correct.
They were first recovered from a black bag on June 3rd by other detectives, right?
The photocopies were, yes.
Well, I want to be clear. There was an original looking document with the purple line that was found in the office, right?
That's correct.
And she told you she hadn't seen that before herself, correct?
She did say that, yes.
And she said she thinks that was Fotis Doulos' handwriting, right?
Yes.
The other two documents were just photocopies, right?
3 documents, right?
There were 3 documents. One was similar to the original that was found, right?
Correct.
The original had some additional writing on it by Doulos, right?
Correct.
She told you none of
10 minutes approximately?
So the entire trip to Hartford and Starbucks was not included in this, correct?
That's correct.
From an investigative perspective, did you find that strange?
Yes.
objection, irrelevant opinion.
Well, the question was, from an investigator's perspective, did you find that strange? The answer was yes, but if there's no follow-up, the court can draw no conclusion about whether it is relevant.
Why did you find that strange, sir?
Objection.
Grounds.
The same, that's why I object to the first. His opinion on why a particular answer he found strange is speculation. It goes to his lay opinion. It has nothing to do with the case, and essentially it doesn't matter what he thought about it.
Your Honor, may I be heard on that?
Well, the court is able to address the objection. The question, did you find that strange, leads to another question. And that question is, for what reason did you find it strange? And the witness is going to testify that he found it strange because certain things didn't, to use a colloquial phrase, didn't add up. So it's overruled.
Why did you find it strange, sir?
Found it to be strange because it was potentially incriminating information and it was omitted.
Incidentally, you were also asked a series of questions on cross-examination about the defendant using the English language.
Correct.
What language was her timeline written in?
English.
To your knowledge, did any police officers force her to write this in English?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Similarly, you were asked on cross-examination about a document contained within State's Exhibit 74, which included, well, it's titled phone calls. Do you recall that document?
Yes.
What language was that written in?
Also in English.
Did the defendant ever tell you that she was malnourished when she wrote this particular document?
No, she did not.
Was the defendant under arrest when she wrote that particular document?
She was not, no.
Just going to return 74 to the clerk. Detective, you were asked a series of questions on cross-examination, I believe it was Friday, although it might have been today as well, about your experience in general with interrogating suspects. Do you recall those questions?
Yes. Yes.
And some of the questions that you were asked included whether or not someone who was educated could be nervous, things of that nature. Do you recall that line of questioning?
Yes, I do.
Detective, in your experience in questioning suspects, do arrestees and suspects in crimes provide detailed accounts in attempts to show that they're being truthful at times?
Objection. It's vague. It's irrelevant what happens in other cases. And it's, again, going into lay opinion about comparing her to some other random, unknown other suspect.
Well, it wasn't irrelevant on Friday, Judge, when he asked these types of questions. I'd ask the court for a little bit of leeway here.
Well, the question.
That concludes the third clip, Judge. Detective Kimball, you had a chance to review that surveillance footage before, correct?
Correct.
And that Starbucks is located in West Hartford?
Yes, on Albany Avenue.
In order to get to the area where Mr. Doulos was observed dumping trash, would you have to drive past that Starbucks?
Yes, you would.
Assuming you were coming from 4 Jefferson Crossing?
Yes, you would travel east past it, and then you would go out to where he was dumping trash.
You were asked questions on cross-examination about the divorce proceedings between Fotis Doulos and Jennifer Doulos. Do you recall those questions?
Yes.
Did the defendant, during the course of the second interview, describe her feelings about the Doulos divorce proceedings?
Yes.
What did she say about that?
She described them as being a nightmare for her.
Did she indicate that it had been 2 years of torture?
Yes.
The defendant told you during the interview that Mr. Doulos did not tell her what to write in her timeline. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Now, we've seen Mr. Doulos' timeline, or at least the timeline that the defendant identified as Mr. Doulos' timeline, state 75. Was the Hartford trash dumping in his timeline?
It was not, no.
During the course of the first interview, the defendant used the words car wash. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Could you describe to the jury the context in which the defendant used the word car wash?
Myself and Detective Clabby were talking about if someone were to have committed a crime down in New Canaan, where they would go to clean up. And we were referring to 61 Sturbridge Hill to find out whether there was water at that house that was under construction. And that is when the defendant brought up, she first said a car, and then she said car wash.
Camera system. Most camera systems do show a date and a timestamp. On the screen, there's a monitor attached. The camera system almost looks like a video recorder system with a monitor attached, and the monitor usually shows us the different cameras that are connected.
Now, with respect to 2 specific days, I know you said you downloaded did you download that whole week?
That is correct, we did.
Okay. Specifically with May 23rd, 2019, with the time difference, what would that show up on the camera system as?
May 23rd would show May 24th, and then an added 10 minutes to the time.
And by time system, is that conveyed on the actual video screen?
Yes.
And May 24th, what time would that, in date, would that show on the actual screen?
If it's May 24th in real time, then it would be May 25th plus added 10 minutes to an actual time.
Now, after you saw that and confirmed the time, did you download that video?
That is correct. So we grabbed video footage from May 20th through May 27th, which was the DVR's time.
How long did it take you to download that video?
It took us several hours. We started probably around like 5:30 in the afternoon, and it took us, I don't think we got out before like midnight.
And that was at the residence?
Yes.
Now, what did you do after you obtained the video?
After the video was obtained, I took the footage to the cybercrime unit, which is over at State Police Headquarters in Middletown, and I secured it we have a secure storage location, and that's why I locked it in.
Did you save a copy as well?
Yes, I did.
With respect to States 81, I believe there's no objection? Is that
That's correct.
Just briefly, if I can.
Has States 81 been offered?
I believe yes, Your Honor, I would offer it. I believe there's no objection if it could be moved into full exhibit at this time.
Thank you. States 81 admitted as full.
Thank you. Just if you could take a look at the screen, either in front of you or behind you. Do you recognize what's depicted on the screen?
Yes, that's correct. So that's depicting that the video footage from Channel 4, which was the actual the driveway was named as Channel 4 on the system. The 2019 0524 is actually the month and the date. 0800 or 0800 is the actual time.
Okay. And with respect to the dates and times reflected on States 81, what does it start with again?
So it starts at 2019, May 24th at midnight.
Okay. And that if it is a day and 10 minutes ahead of time, what is that in real time?
That's in real time. If that's the DVR time, that should be May 23rd, 10 minutes ahead, 23:50.
And what does it go to?
It goes all the way until May 25th at 2300 hours, which is 11 p.m.
Okay. And real time, that would be?
That would be May 24th, May 24th at 10:50 p.m.
And the player on the bottom, what is this?
So each video recording system, or some of them, they come with their own player, which is the most efficient way, the most clearest way to actually look at the video. So when we are saving the video footage from a DVR, we actually save the player program with it at the same time.
So Exhibit 81 contains essentially 2 days worth of the 7 days that you downloaded. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I will leave it at that. I have nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
I won't stand at their podium, excuse me. That's theirs. So that I want to be clear, you actually have downloaded on that disk an entire week's worth of video, is that right?
That is correct.
And unlike some video, this is not a motion activated video, was it?
This was a motion activated video.
This was motion activated? Oh. So it only went on when it caught vehicles or movement in the vision?
That is correct.
That is within the camera?
Yes.
Okay. You said that the time embedded in it was off by a day and 10 minutes, correct?
That is correct.
And you've explained that, so I'm not going to have you do the math again. But each clip that's on that exhibit is how long on Exhibit 81?
I would have to look at the clip again in order to, I don't remember how long the clips were.
All right, but however many there are, each one is a clip until it turned on, until it turned off again, correct?
So sometimes it's the system itself that will determine. So we just give it the time frame that we would like to download the clips in between. And depending on the system, on the DVR system, it will actually cut up the video footage into chunks on its own. So we don't really have a control over that. We were not downloading it. I believe it may have been an hour increments. That's what the system did it on its own.
Oh, that was going to be my next question. So each of those files that we just saw up on the screen is approximately 1 hour or some less?
I believe it's approximately 1 hour, but the DVR system determines that.
Okay, all right. And you said that just to download it took about 5 or more hours.
Probably, yes. Yeah, it's about.
And the person who showed you the video system, the name of the people was Manafort, correct?
That is correct.
Those
I
are the-
believe we met with Mrs. Manafort.
Mrs.
that night.
Manafort.
Yes,
The owner, she was one of the owners of 77 Mountain Spring Road, right?
yes.
And does the system, do you need to use the proprietary player in order to play those clips?
That's the best way of doing it in order to get the best reliable video footage so it doesn't skip, the image is not distorted, so you get the best quality.
So if the date in the video says May 25, we should really be thinking it's a day earlier, May 24.
That is correct.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Nothing further, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Zensky, you can step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Would that conclude the state's witnesses for today?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we conclude today's session. Tomorrow, do we begin with Sergeant Butin?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow we will begin the session at 10 o'clock. The state will continue its presentation calling Sergeant Butin. Please do not discuss the case or view any media, read any media about the case. Have a good evening.